Yes, people, the Paramount era is officially upon us, people. UFC 324 is here tomorrow. 6 weeks since we've had a UFC card. I've missed it. I'm sure you guys have as well. And we've got a banger to kick off 2026. Justin Gaethje taking on Paddy Pimblett for the interim title at lightweight. What's going to happen? I'm going to let you know. Predictions for UFC 324 prelims and main card. Sit back, relax, and let's get into this. Yes, lovely people. Hope you're well. Please do smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. And we are finally here, guys. The weigh-ins are complete. The fighters are ready. And UFC 324 promises to be an absolutely amazing card. Is it missing something? Yes, it's missing Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes. Unfortunately. But we have still got a great card. So let's get into this, people. Going to start with the first fight of the prelims, and that is Modestas Bukauskas versus Nikita Krylov. Very important fight in the 205 division, actually. And look, Modestas has done a lot of training in the UK. Actually trains with Tom Aspinall now, and you could see from his fight at Paul Craig that his confidence level seems to just be going up and up through the roof. And he had a very good outing in that fight. Obviously, retired Paul Craig, but he's been quietly going about his business and doing really well in the 205-pound division. Now, Nikita Krylov has been a top 15 fighter in that division for a while now. He's dropped as low as 13th at the moment, and this is a fantastic opportunity for Bukauskas to actually make a name, an even bigger name for himself, and actually climb the rankings. Big up yourself, Cringe Gov, in the building. I think I'm gonna go for Bukauskas in this one. And look, I know Nikita is probably going to be the favorite. I just think the fact that Modestas is now training with Aspinall, he's starting to find some rhythm, starting to find some form. He's training with bigger men all the time. He's probably one of the smallest men in his gym. I think it's going to really help him train next to the champion, train next to some of the greatest or best heavyweights in the world, tough men in that gym. I think it's just going to help him to navigate this fight, and I think he gets it done. I think he gets it done within the 3 rounds as well. I think he stops Nikita in the second or third round. So I'm going with a Modestas Bukauskas win. I think he gets it done within 2 or 3 rounds. Now on to the second fight on the prelims, and that is Atiba Gaethje, who's 9-1 versus Andre Pulayev. Atiba, I mean, everyone's calling him Little Francis. He's 185 pounds, but he looks about 300 pounds just of muscle. The guy is just, you look at a picture of him. Like, look at a picture of him. That guy is just ripped beyond belief, and he is starching people. And the more he's in the octagon, the more he seems to be more comfortable, and the more devastating he becomes. Now, I think people who don't necessarily know much about Pulayev are probably just writing this off and saying, "Oh, Gaethje is just going to go through this guy like a hot knife through butter." I don't subscribe to that. And the reason I say that is Pulayev also has knockout power, but not just that. He's taller. He might have more range than Gaethje, but also he's very good grappling. Wrestling's good. Sambo specialist as well. And I think if he can stay away from the power of Atiba Gaethje and then start mixing in the wrestling and the takedowns and start to fatigue. Look, you only have to look at Gaethje to look at how much muscle mass he's carrying. Carrying muscle mass is good for explosiveness and power, but it's also bad for cardio and conditioning sometimes. Pulayev can start to get the takedown, start to make him work, start to keep him moving, it could help him in this fight. That being said, even though I don't think he'll go through him like a hot knife through, but I do think Atiba Gaethje gets it done. I think he gets it done in round 2. I think he stops Pulev. But I think Pulev puts up a good fight in the first round. But I just think Atiba just on that roll at the moment where he just looks devastating. His confidence is high and he hits like a truck. So I'm going for Atiba Gaethje with this fight. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. On to this fight now, people. Umar Nurmagomedov versus Deiveson Figueiredo. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This is the fight I'm most excited about on the whole card. Now, call me a nerd. Not a fighting nerd, just call me a nerd. I think this is such a pivotal fight in this division. Now, we have to straight away speak about the elephant in the room. That's that Deiveson Figueiredo missed weight. He weighed in at 138.5 pounds, so he missed the weight limit by 2.5 pounds. Again, not a good look for Figueiredo. He missed weight at 125 a couple times, if I'm not mistaken. Now he's gone up in weight and missed 135 pounds, which makes you even wonder how he even got down to 125 pounds. That being said, it's annoying because if Figueiredo now goes and wins, he's not winning fairly. And I've kind of got fed up with this. And look, I'm not saying that fighters should drain themselves, because we saw what happened with Cameron Smotherman when he collapsed on stage after he weighed in. But if you sign up to make a weight, you should make the weight. And Figueiredo is now going into this fight with an advantage because he's not going to be as depleted as Umar, and he's going to rehydrate up to as big, if not bigger than maybe Umar. I think it's unprofessional. I don't think it's right. But then again, I am still looking forward to this fight. And Deiveson is one of the most exciting fighters on the roster. That being said, I think Umar is just that damn good at the moment. And I think we could be in a situation whereby we have Umar, Yan, Merab all doing sort of a merry-go-round with the belt at some stage. I think Merab is probably a bit of kryptonite for Umar, but I think Umar could be the kryptonite for Peter Yan. And I think that probably makes it clear which way I'm steering in this fight. And I think I'm going for Umar and winning this fight by decision. I think he uses his wrestling. I think he uses his kicking and his takedowns and just clench work and grappling just to subdue and just to slow down the pace of Figueiredo. Figueiredo hits hard. He's one of the only people to drop Marlon Vera. And Cheeto's got one of the best chins in MMA right now. So Deiveson hits hard. Umar just doesn't get hit that much. So I know he got dropped by Bautista. But again, Bautista hits hard as well. And Umar's able to recover and then get a unanimous win there as well. I'm going for Umar in this fight. And I think he wins a decision. I think he wins it unanimously and quite comfortably. On to the main card now, people. And here's where the real fun starts. Almighty Arnold Allen is back after shoulder surgery, a shoulder injury. He is back in the octagon. The forgotten man of the featherweight division, in my opinion. Only lost to Max Holloway and Evloev. And even the Evloev fight was a little controversial. Remember, he landed the knee, even though he wasn't a grounded opponent. Evloev got time to recover. You almost think if he didn't get that time to recover, could Arnold have potentially stopped the fight? And we're talking about Arnold being in a title race right now. That being said, John Silver is one of the most exciting, flamboyant, aggressive, and boisterous fighters on the roster. His fight against Diego Lopez, one of the fights of the year last year, just an incredible fight. And look, I know he came out on the losing end of that, but he also gained a lot of respect from a lot of people. He took some heavy shots in that first round, stunned Diego Lopez a few times as well, but was unfortunately not able to get the win. That being said, this is a tough fight for both men. And look, John Silver is cutting down a lot of weight, cut down from 190 pounds to make it to 145. That's a lot of weight to cut. A lot of weight. I don't think Arnold Allen is cutting that sort of weight. But I also think John Silver carries the knockout power, but I think Arnold Allen is the more well-rounded fighter. I think in terms of submission and jiu-jitsu, I might side with John Silver. The problem is Arnold Allen does sometimes like to get into a firefight, and getting into a firefight with someone like John Silver could be devastating. So I think Arnold Allen's got a fight behind his jab and his kicks, and pick John Silver off when he gets the chances. He's got to be very careful in there. John Silver, he has to do what he has to do. He has to flow with the rhythm. He has to hit him to the body if he can. I think you've got to try and overwhelm Allen, but also he's got to be careful of what comes back as well. We saw Allen stop Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker again is not someone who's easy to stop through strikes as well. If I'm gonna side with anyone in this fight, I think I'm gonna go Arnold Allen. I think I'm going to go to a decision for this. I think Arnold Allen just fights a smart fight here. I think he makes it not necessarily boring, but not as exciting as it would be if he just got into a firefight. And I think he gets the win by the unanimous decision. So let me know your thoughts there, guys. On to the women's fight. This fight's obviously replacing Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes, which was taken off the card due to Kayla Harrison's injury. And that is Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. Thug Rose looking to knock off the number one contender at 125 pounds. Now, Thug Rose, obviously 115 pounds, one of the GOATs in that division. The only woman to beat Wei Li twice, and Joanna Jędrzejczyk twice as well. So Rose is GOATed in this. I just don't know how she fares against Natalia Silva. Like, she's found it quite difficult at 125 because these girls are naturally bigger than her. She's never been the biggest at 125. She wasn't even the biggest at 115. So for her to climb up to 125, it just shows that she's fed up of cutting the weight to 115. Even though if she went down to 115 again, I actually think she could make another run at the belt. But that's neither here nor there. She's fighting at 125 and she's got a really, really tough ask on her hands. Like, the last time we saw Natalia Silva was her fight against Alexa Grasso, and she looked brilliant. Picked Alexa Grasso apart. Striking at range, quick, fleet-footed, IQ off the charts. She is really, really good. And I think she's going to be too much for Rose. The thing that Rose has in her favor is that Rose can close the distance, and Rose is very good with her striking as well. And she's got good takedowns, good jiu-jitsu. I just don't know if she'll get close enough to Silva to be able to implement her game plan. And I think Silva, again, will not necessarily fight off the back foot, but I think she'll more lean into counter striking and employ a lot of movement with her striking. And I think she'll just be too elusive for Rose. So I'm going for a Natalia Silva. I'm going to go for a decision here as well. Rose is far from easy to stop. In fact, I can't remember the last time Rose was stopped. It was probably the Jessica Andrade title fight where she was dropped on her head, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Natalia Silva by unanimous decision on this one. But I think Rose is a live fighter in this one as well. But I'm still siding with Natalia Silva. If you blink, you'll miss it. If you blink, you'll miss it. Waldo Acosta-Cortez versus Derek Lewis. Look, this fight's become really personal. Derek Lewis hasn't liked Waldo for a while. I remember him speaking on Ariel Helwani's show early last year, if I'm not mistaken, saying he wants that fight because of some stuff Waldo said to do with race or stuff like that. Look, this is two guys who are going in there to finish the fight. I've predicted on the main card the first two fights to go to decision. I'm not a massive betting person. In fact, I rarely bet. This is not going outside the first round, in my opinion. This is definitely not going outside the second round. But I don't think this leaves the first round. Someone's getting knocked out. And as much as I love the guy, I think it's going to be Derek Lewis, unfortunately, who does succumb to the boxing and the quickness of Acosta-Cortez. He's on a tear at the moment. 5 fights last year, 4 wins. The last 2 are devastating knockouts. Derek Lewis cannot afford to be on the back foot in this fight because Wilder will pick him apart. Wilder's got very quick hands, very good boxing, very slick, moves in and out, very good at creating angles as well, as we saw in the 2 previous fights. But Derek always has a chance. Wilder does like to get into close range, and if you get into close range with Lewis and you get caught, it's murder, she wrote. Lewis is the most devastating knockout artist the UFC's ever seen, probably will ever see. But I just think it's Wilder's time. And I think a win here puts Wilder in a conversation for heavyweight title shot. A win for Lewis also does the same though. Derek Lewis, I feel, is always a win or two away from a title fight because of his personality and his popularity, but also because of his fighting style. The level of danger fighting Derek Lewis is so high because of his knockout power. I just think Wilder gets it done, and I think he gets it done with a first round TKO here. But I hope I'm proven wrong because I do like Derek Lewis. He's one of my favorite fighters in the UFC. Nothing against Wilder Acosta Cortez, but I'm going to go with Wilder in this fight. But I'm hoping Derek does the business. On to the co-main event of the evening. The Sugar Show is back in full effect, taking on Song Yadong. And look, if there was ever a good fight for Sean O'Malley to come back to, it is this one. Song Yadong is a short, compact fighter, good striking, good takedowns, just a very good all-rounded, well-rounded fighter. But Sean's a sniper. And even though this won't be an easy fight for Sean, I think this is a tailor-made fight for Sean as well. I don't think Song Yadong's got any I don't think he's got any standout attributes. I think he's a very well-rounded fighter. If you were to measure him on a scale of 1 to 10 in all of his attributes, you'd probably say he's a 7 or an 8 out of 10 in all areas of the game. Whereas Sean, you would say probably his wrestling isn't as high as other assets, but his striking's a 10 out of 10. And we've seen it numerous times now. When he hits people on the chin, we saw against Aljo, we've seen it against so many fighters now. When Sean hits you, even Yan, he managed to beat Yan into the punch in the first round and staggered Yan, and then he opened Yan's face up with a knee up the middle as well. His striking is so diverse. You think about the knee he hit Marlon Chito Vera with. It's devastating. So his striking is so good, and I think Song Yadong is probably going to try and attack the league leg like most people do with O'Malley. I just think O'Malley's going to have too much for him. I don't think he gets the stoppage though. I think it's a unanimous decision, but I think it's a unanimous decision whereby we all go, yeah, Sean's still that guy. Yes, he lost 2 in a row to Marab, but Sean's still that guy. So I'm going with a unanimous decision here. I'm going to hit up some of your comments before I do the main event. Shout out to Cringe Gov. Shout out to SK says, all right, Cal, looking forward to this one. I am indeed. Shout out to Zane as well. Cringe Gov. Justin is wearing a sticker to cover up the neck wound facing Pat. Yep, I was going to speak on that. Yeah, that doesn't look great. Big up Eric as well. SK says, big love for the content lately. Cal has been sick. Something every day, working hard, bro. Big up yourself, man. I'm glad you're noticing and seeing the grind. Cal, we be live for the prelims. So I'm meant to go out and see, me and my missus are meant to be going out tomorrow evening to see a couple of friends. If I'm back in time for the prelims at 12, then I will start the prelims at 12. If not, then I'll do the main card. A9 says, Cal, don't let your wife you talk about other women. Big up, G. I hear it. Abdul says, big up, Cal. Hope you're well as well, bro. Big up, Chris as well. Says, big up, Cal. Great preview. Hope you guys are good. Right, on to the main event of the evening. And it is Justin the Highlight Gaethje versus Paddy the Baddie Pimblett. I've spoken on this, and I'm going to just say how I feel. I think the UFC have been very smart in navigating Paddy Pimblett's career. Very smart. Now, granted, Paddy still had to go in there and win the fights. It's not like you can script this. This isn't WWE. But I think if you could create a pathway to an interim title fight, I think this is the best way of doing it, or the best way with least amount of adversity. Now, I think he lost the fight to Jared Gordon. He went away, had ankle surgery, came back. He fought Tony Ferguson. I thought he looked okay in that fight, but again, Tony Ferguson's was on a slide at the time. I think it was 7-fight losing streak or something like that at the time. So him beating Tony Ferguson for me didn't put him in those upper echelon conversations, and he did look like he gassed out a little bit in the third round. However, he still got the win. A very good name to have on his resume. Then he gets to fight with Michael Chandler. Again, Chandler has been on a losing streak. Isn't the same fighter as before. You could arguably say Chandler after one round isn't the same fighter. He goes hard in the first round, kind of waves off as the fight continues. Paddy Pimblett was devastating in that fight. Ground and pound, beat him up, and got the win. Again, another legend on his resume. Paddy Pimblett at the time of fighting Michael Chandler, I think Michael Chandler was ranked maybe number 8 or 9 in the division. Paddy was just inside the top 15. Sorry, Bobby Green as well. How can I forget Bobby Green? Fantastic win against Bobby Green. Again, another legend, but another fighter on the back end of their career. He's fought 3 legends, but 3 of them on the back end of their career. And if I'm not mistaken, Bobby Green might have been the only one who wasn't on a losing streak. When he beat Michael Chandler, he was, if I'm not mistaken, ranked number 13, and Chandler was ranked number 9 or 8. So I don't know why and how Paddy's ranked number 5 now in the world when he hasn't beaten anyone in the top 10 currently. I'll read the top 10 guys. So it's obviously Ilya's champion, Ahmed Sarukian, Oliveira, Holloway, Gaethje, Pimblett, Hooker, Gamrot, Saint Denis, Fiziev, Moicano, Dariush. In fact, he's only beaten 1 fighter in the top 15. He's literally just beaten 1 fighter in the top 15 and he's ranked number 5. To me, that's crazy. But to me, it also shows the bias of the UFC sometimes. Now, I like Paddy. And the fact that he's a Liverpool fan, like, endears me to him even more. And I do think he's, as you see in the thumbnail, I do think he wins this fight. And I hate to say this because I love Justin Gaethje. I do think he makes it look easy as well. Gaethje having staph infection in his neck and then having to wear something to cover it up means to me he's either been on antibiotics and it's starting to clear up, or he hasn't been on antibiotics, which means he's not going to be 100%. 2, Gaethje has struggled with people with good grappling and jiu-jitsu, Oliveira and Khabib. Now, I'm not saying Paddy is Oliveira or Khabib, but what I will say is Paddy has fantastic jiu-jitsu and superb grappling. His judo throws are some of the best in the UFC. And he can take a hit. He says it. Scousers don't get knocked out. He says these words. And so far he's proven it. And I know people will say, well, who's the hardest puncher he's fought? You'd probably say Michael Chandler. And Chandler didn't really land clean on him, or maybe a couple times. But he's eaten every fight. Every fight he's had, he's eaten punches. And he's walked through it and he's got the win. I don't even know if Gaethje really gets to touch him in his fight. I think Paddy keeps him at range with kicks. One thing I will say, what Paddy's got to be careful about is not getting hit with too many leg kicks by Justin Gaethje. If he does that, then you're going to be in real trouble. But I think Paddy keeps him away. He's got a really good front teep kick. He also teeps to the quad and to the knee as well, and I think he'll do that just to offset Gaethje. Gaethje can sometimes stand quite upright and quite square on, which is sometimes why he's able to generate that sort of power. But I think that will be exploited by Paddy, and I think he'll get takedowns early in the fight. I think he'll piece up Gaethje on the ground, and I think he'll get a submission win in the 3rd round. So I'm going with Paddy Pimblett. I don't know who this person is on Twitch. Yo, bro, are you just talking to me? Are you just talking? Just respond. Oh, yeah. Okay, goodbye then. You don't have to stick around. I think Paddy gets it done. I think Paddy gets it done in 3 rounds. And I think he gets a submission win. And he gets, in my opinion, sets up a fantastic grudge match with Ilia Topuria. Now, that being said, if Gaethje wins, then he 100% is fighting on that White House card against Topuria, in my opinion. So we'll see. People, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know your predictions. I think the fight of the night on the main card will be Lewis and Wilder. I think performance of the night will go to Paddy. And I think finish of the night will probably go to Paddy as well. People, until I see you again, around 24 hours from now, people. Can't wait. Almost there. Enough love to you all. Smash that like button. Till I see you again, people. Take care. Speak soon. Thank you for watching.